Hola familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So today I am doing my first update of the year for Pan Those Eyeshadows. I'm super excited to share with you guys my progress with these eyeshadows. I will have all of my rules specifically for this project pan down in the description box always throughout the year. So just in case if you have any questions on how I do this project pan, everything will be down in the description box to refresh your memory, or if you have any questions that those rules can answer for you guys. So today I'm going to update you guys on the shadows, which ones will be leaving, which ones will be staying. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of project pan. That is something that interests you. Subscribe, join us, and now without further ado, let's get on with the update. So first I'm going to share with you guys the 5 shadows that were chosen for me in the intro so you guys can have a refresher of what shadows I've been working for the last 30 days. Now that you have seen those shadows, we're going to go ahead and get started. The first one I want to share with you guys is my single, the one single that I always pull every month. This is the L'Oreal Quartz Fume shade. In the intro, you guys can see that I've maybe used this a few times, a handful of times, not too much, but I did get some use out of this shadow. And now, as you guys can see, I don't have that much usage out of it, but it is somewhat used. I've only used this twice, but when I use this, because it is a specific squishy kind of formula, I have to really dip in there. I've only used this twice, and today is the second time that I've wore it. As you guys can see, I have it on the outer parts of my eyelids. It's a really nice one. It could be sheared out like this, or I could really make it full-blown smoky, which is how I used it the first time. Now, I haven't been concentrating on this shadow because I knew that this shadow was going to be a little bit difficult for me to work with as far as incorporating it in looks and as far as the darkness of it. But now this is going to go off front and center for the next round because I don't like to have a shadow more than 2 times in this project pan, so I like to concentrate it on to at least hit one of my 2 goals. So I have 18 more uses before I could roll this one out or hit pan. I can tell you right now, I probably will not be hitting pan because I did try to hit pan on a different shade last year and that was unsuccessful. So you'll probably get to see this used 20 times. The next one I want to share with you guys is my Huda Nude shadow. The shadow that I rolled in is called Fantasy. When you guys see this, this was brand new, never used, not even swatched. You guys, I was very embarrassed about that, but I'm very happy to say that as you guys can see the shadow now, it is looking like it has been used and abused. I'm very excited about that. Now this one is a little bit of a trickier shadow to work with. Because it is crumbly, I have to use like a concealer brush with it and wet it, or my finger works best. I'm currently wearing this in the center of my lid, and then I topped it with a different shadow on top to kind of give it a little bit of a dimension to it. So this one I've only used 14 times. I have 6 more uses or pan. I don't know if I'll hit pan on this, you guys. I might, but it is rather difficult because it's very, very crumbly. I've also been taking advantage of this palette in general, and I've used quite a bit of the mattes in here. I do have these 2 mattes right here on my crease today. It's been working fine, and now that we are going into February, this shadow will still be in the running, and it's perfect for Valentine's Day season. So I'm not really upset that I didn't hit either one of my 2 goals in this one, because I knew that this one would come in handy in February, even though I used more than half of the usage in January itself. So this one also will stay, but I'm pretty sure this won't be rolled out next month. The third shadow is a matte shadow. This is from The Balm Meet Matador. So the shadow I rolled in was called Matte Bernard. In the intro, you can clearly see that this whole entire palette was brand new. That'll be the story for most of my palettes that you'll be seeing this year. And I really, really honed down on using this one. Now, as you guys can see, I don't know if in the close-up you can see it, but in person, I could definitely see there's a dip going on in here. You can see the usage in that shadow. I don't know if you guys can see it on here. It might be washing it out, but I definitely got great usage out of it. I'm wearing it today. Today's the last day. I've used this 20 times, and I've used it as a crease shade. I don't know if you guys can see it up here, but it's a very, very light shadow. It barely shows up, but it does show up, and it was perfect for a transitional shadow for any look I did, whether it was a blue look, a pink look, a purple look. This shadow I incorporated in my crease and above it to kind of help out with that helper kind of shadow. Beautiful. I actually wouldn't mind continuing using this one because it just worked perfectly. But I have met my goal, and if you see it in person, this definitely looks used and abused. I love it. This is a palette that I was well aware that was very hard to hit pan on right away. These pans are very, very deep and you don't need a lot. So I knew I wasn't going to hit pan. I knew I was going to hit the 20 uses. So this is going to be rolled out. I'm happy to say that at least now this palette has one shadow that looks used, and I'm hoping that eventually later on I get to use it more, remind myself to use it more. The fourth shadow came from my Too Faced Palm Springs Dreams palette. Now this is a palette that did get rolled in last year for a different shadow, and I knew I was not going to hit pan. The formula in this palette is very, very pigmented, and the shadows are very deep and very tightly packed in here. So in the intro, you guys can see that it was Cabana Time. The shadow that I brought in is a matte bone, brand new, never used. And now when you look at the shadow, you could kind of tell that I used it, but it's still the same, you guys. I definitely can see like parts of the pan on the edges kind of showing, but this would take me so long to use. I used a very large fluffy brush to set my whole primer. That's how I use it. Today was the last day. I used this again 20 times. This was rather easy, just like the Balm shadow, to use every day with every single look. So it was not a burden. I already knew I wasn't going to hit pan. I knew the 20 uses was going to come up and I was not going to hit pan. This palette will be with me till the end of time because they're so densely packed, and you get a lot of product in here. So, and it still smells delicious. I did not use any other shadow in here but this one, because this is too warm tone for me right now. I prefer to go cooler tone due to the fact that I can get away with cooler tones now, and it does call for it the whole season, at least for me. You can wear whatever you want, but I feel like warmer tones kind of makes me look a little bit off if it's not summertime. So I didn't really grab for any of these. I just stuck with the one shade that I was panning. Last but not least, let's talk about the Anastasia Jackie Aina palette. The color that I rolled in was Shookington. Now with this one, I was brand new to this palette, never been touched, so I knew that I could do some damage with, since we all know Anastasia shadows are very easily able to pan, and as you guys can see, that is a major pan in this shadow. Now let me explain to you guys about this shadow, because I'm kind of shocked considering this palette is only a few months old. I got this for Christmas, so it wasn't that long ago that I got this palette. This shadow specifically performed like a expired shadow, to be honest with you guys. It's so crumbly and so soft. It was ridiculous. The only way that I was able to make this work is if I was gonna wet the shadow, or I used a glitter glue. A lot of you guys had told me you had trouble with this shadow and it wasn't sticking, and I completely agree. If you use this shadow wet, it's not gonna stick to your eyelids. And if you try to build the shade up on your lid, it takes it away. The bottom layer gets picked up from the top layer, and it's such a mess, especially since it's so crumbly. So the only way I was able to use it was wetting it or putting a glitter glue. I used this shadow quite a bit in different videos, and a lot of you guys complimented me on my purple eye looks. It was this shadow. I only used this shadow 7 times, you guys, and hit that big of a pan. That's how crumbly it was. Now I did play around with this palette as well and tried other ones, and they're not the same formula. This one I feel like was the worst one out of all of them. I'm kind of glad I got it because I got it out of the way, but I know the rest of the palette is nice because I did play around with these purples and pinks. I used this shadow, I used these. So I know this palette isn't bad, it's just that specific shadow I did not appreciate. I didn't really like, but I did like the end result when I was able to find a way to work with it. So I hit pan on this one 7 times. I'm also going to be rolling this one out. All right, you guys, so that means I will be rolling in 3 new palettes. Since my single is still in here, I do not get to roll in a single, so all 3 of these will be going out of a palette. So let me get myself set up so then we can choose our 3 palettes randomly. All right, you guys, so I put all of my palettes that I will be rolling in here, so let's go ahead and roll 75. Let's just roll all 3 at once. 228. And 210. And as you guys know with that video I did last week, you guys can see them all there. So there we go. So these are the 3. ones that we're going to roll. So 75 was the first one. So let's see what palette that is. Perfect timing. This is the Coastal Scents Think Pink palette. This palette is based, it's all consistent of pink shadows, pink and purpley shadows. So it's perfect for February. And I think I should be able to hit pan on those. I've used that quite a bit and I've had that one for a while. So I have a feeling that's going to be rather easy. So let me pull that one out. But first, let's see. 228 is the next one. Oh my goodness. Juvia's Place, the Nomad palette, you guys. I've been doing this for over a year now, and this is the first time I actually get a Juvia's Place palette. The Nomad, that'll be exciting. We'll see which shadow I get out of there. And then the last one is 210, which is Jouer's Springtime in Paris, which is another palette that's very pretty, never used. So let me pull all three of those out, and then we'll see which shadow I get to pan randomly. So here's the Think Pink palette from Coastal Scents. Here is what the shadows look like right over here. As you guys can see, it's very, very pink base with a black, and you guys know I don't do black, so let's hope I don't get it. So I already put it in here 1 through 12, so let's see which shadow I get, which is number 10. So 4, 8, 9, 10, which is this shadow right here, and that looks like it's called Light Plum. That's perfect for this time of year. Okay, I think that'll go really nicely too with the Huda Beauty one. So here's what that one looks like right here. That's very pretty. The next one I had was the Nomad palette, which is perfect for March. So we'll see if I can hang until March to play around with this one. So we have 9 shadows. So let's see which one we get. Number 3, which is this dark green. Holy cow. All right. Here, that's beautiful though. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, this plum and this green look so pretty together, you guys. Oh, that's very pretty. My wheels are turning. The last palette I have is the Jouer Springtime in Paris, which has mattes and shimmers. This is what this one looks like right here. So we again have 12 shadows. See which one we get. Number 9, 4, 8, 9, which is this one right over here. Oh, that is beautiful. And I barely had to press down on that one. Oh, that's stunning. That's another one that I can work with for February, and it'll go really nicely with my singles. So let me share with you guys all 5 shadows together. So here are all 5 of the shadows. This is the Coastal Scents, the Nomad, Springtime from Jouer. Then I have my New Nudes from Huda, and then my L'Oreal one. This is actually really, really pretty. I'm actually surprised at how nice these are gonna look. Now for next round, what I'm gonna concentrate on are these 2 shadows right here, my single from L'Oreal, and then my Huda one. Since these are the 2 oldest, these are the 2 I'm going to be working with. And then I'm probably going to be working on this one because I know this one's rather easy to hit pan on. These 2 will probably be lingering for the next month, and that's okay with me because I can definitely make these work March when greens are all about it. But this is beautiful. I am so excited about this one. Finally, I get something exciting and fun. This year is exciting. And the first time I ever get a Juvia's Place palette. I have so many Juvia's Place palettes, and I finally got one in here. Finally. All right, you guys, that is it. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put more videos right over here for your enjoyment. Until then, bye guys.